The price of betrayal. The holographic display in the United Earth Defense Command Center pulsed with an eerie red glow as Admiral Sarah Chen watched the encrypted transmission decrypt before her eyes. Her weathered face, marked by decades of service, remained impassive even as her heart rate quickened. The message was brief, but its implications would reshape humanity's future. Operation Eclipse is confirmed. The Meridian Fleet movements were not exercises. Lieutenant Commander James Rodriguez, her chief intelligence officer, stood rigidly beside her, his dark eyes fixed on the same display. "Ma'am, all 7 deep space monitoring stations have confirmed it. The Meridian Concordat has been systematically positioning their warships behind the cover of Jupiter's magnetic field for the past 3 months. They're building an invasion fleet while maintaining diplomatic relations." Chen's fingers traced the edge of her command console, feeling the smooth, cold surface ground her in reality. For 5 years, the Meridians had been humanity's supposed allies in technological advancement, sharing what they claimed was basic, faster-than-light travel technology. Humanity had celebrated their first contact with advanced alien life, eagerly absorbing their teachings, trading resources, establishing joint colonies, all while the knife was being sharpened. "Show me the full tactical analysis," Chen commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The holographic display shifted, revealing a complex web of Meridian ship movements, supply lines, and communication patterns. The deception was elegant in its simplicity, using legitimate trade routes and diplomatic missions as cover for positioning their military assets. Their fleet composition suggests they're planning a simultaneous strike on all major Earth defense installations, Rodriguez continued, highlighting key strategic points. Their ships outclass ours in every traditional metric: faster, better shielded, more heavily armed. If they launch a conventional assault, our casualties would be astronomical. Chen's lips tightened into a thin line. "But they don't know about Project Prometheus, do they?" "No, Admiral. The quantum shielding research has remained completely compartmentalized. As far as the Meridians know, we're still struggling with basic energy barrier technology." The Admiral stood, walking to the vast window that overlooked the sprawling underground complex of Luna Base Alpha. Below, thousands of personnel worked tirelessly, unaware that their worst fears about their alien allies were being confirmed. The sight of human ingenuity and determination spread out before her strengthened her resolve. "Send the alert to all fleet commanders. Authorization code Chen Alpha 70. Begin immediate evacuation of all joint colonial operations." And most importantly, she turned back to face Rodriguez, her eyes hardening. "Activate all Prometheus-class vessels." The next 48 hours transformed the solar system into a theater of war. As Meridian diplomats continued to attend peace conferences on Earth, their hidden armada began its final positioning. They believed their deception was still intact, that humanity would be caught completely unaware. They were wrong. When the first Meridian warships emerged from behind Jupiter, they expected to find Earth's defenses still focused outward, still trusting. Instead, they encountered a human fleet that had undergone a metamorphosis. The Prometheus-class vessels, built in secret deep within asteroid bases, represented humanity's true technological achievement. Ships that combine Meridian FTL technology with human innovations they'd never shared with their allies. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Hyperion, the first of the Prometheus-class ships, as the reports of initial contact flooded in. The Meridian advance guard, expecting an easy victory, broke against a wall of quantum-shielded human vessels. Their energy weapons, designed to overwhelm conventional shields, dispersed harmlessly against defenses based on principles they'd never imagined humans could grasp. Multiple Meridian capital ships requesting emergency communications, her communications officer reported, a note of grim satisfaction in his voice. "Put them through," Chen ordered, straightening her uniform. The holographic display flickered to life, showing the face of Arch Commander Velex, The very Meridian who had signed their last trade agreement just weeks ago. His typically composed features were distorted with shock and confusion. Admiral Chen, Velix began, his translator struggling to maintain composure. There seems to be some unfortunate misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, Arch Commander. Chen cut him off, her voice arctic. We understand perfectly. You believed us to be children, easily deceived while you positioned your knives at our throats. But you should have studied Earth's history more carefully. We've had practice with betrayal. The Meridian leader's expression shifted from diplomatic concern to cold calculation. Then you leave us no choice but to. No, Arch Commander. Chen interrupted again, activating a tactical display. You left us no choice. And now you're about to learn why humanity has survived every extinction-level event our world has thrown at us. We don't just adapt. We evolve. As if to punctuate her words, the quantum shields of the human fleet pulsed with a new pattern, and the real battle for humanity's future began. The price of betrayal would be paid not in human lives, as the Meridians had planned, but in the shattering of their own imperial ambitions. Operation Thunderstrike. Captain Maya Patel crouched in the darkness of her stealth corvette's command center, watching the massive Meridian dreadnought drift past on the main display. The UES Ghost Dancer was running silent, its revolutionary metamaterial hull absorbing all electromagnetic emissions. Her ship, along with 30 others like it, had been waiting in this asteroid field for 3 days, perpetrating what Admiral Chen had dubbed Operation Thunderstrike. Target is crossing the threshold, Lieutenant Wei whispered, though there was no need for silence in space. Old habits died hard. Their sensor sweep is passing right through us. Maya allowed herself a small smile. The Meridians still hadn't figured out how their supposedly primitive human enemies had developed technology that could render ships completely invisible to their advanced detection systems. The truth was elegant in its simplicity. While the Meridians had focused on ever more powerful active scanning technology, humanity had perfected the art of passive observation and total emission control. All ships, execute on my mark, Maya transmitted through the quantum-entangled communicator, another innovation the Meridians hadn't believed humans capable of developing. The tiny device ensured instant, untraceable communication between human vessels. Remember, we hit their shield generators first, then their weapon systems. No deviations from the assault pattern. The dreadnought continued its patrol, its crew likely bored and complacent. The Meridians had lost several major engagements in the past month, but they still believed their technological superiority would ultimately prevail. They hadn't yet realized that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their ships or their shields. It was their ability to think differently. Mark. 31 stealth corvettes simultaneously dropped their cloaking fields. Before the Meridian vessel could react, precision-guided quantum torpedoes, designed to bypass standard energy shields by partially existing in multiple dimensions, struck key points across its hull. The massive shield generators exploded in synchronized chaos, leaving it exposed to the second wave of conventional weapons. Status report. Maya commanded, her fingers dancing across the tactical display as Ghost Dancer executed a perfect attack run along the dreadnought's spine. Shield generators destroyed. Weapon systems at 30% functionality. Their crew is struggling to mount an effective defense, Wei reported, his voice tight with concentration. But Mom, we're detecting quantum fluctuations consistent with an incoming fleet. They must have had a rapid response force waiting in hyperspace. Maya nodded, having expected this. All ships, initiate Phase 2. Release the mines. As the corvettes continued their assault on the dreadnought, they each deployed dozens of small, innocuous-looking devices. These were the product of Project Chimera, adaptive smart mines that could learn and replicate based on the energy signatures they encountered. The Meridians were about to learn another harsh lesson about human ingenuity. The response fleet arrived in a flash of quantum displacement, 15 warships emerging from hyperspace in perfect attack formation. Their commanders had expected to find a crippled dreadnought under attack by conventional forces. Instead, they materialized in the middle of a minefield that immediately began analyzing and adapting to their defensive systems. Meridian ships are reporting cascading shield failures. Wei announced, a note of satisfaction in his voice. The mines are rewriting their attack patterns faster than their systems can adapt. Maya watched as the mighty Meridian warships found themselves trapped in a web of human technological innovation. The mines weren't just attacking. They were learning, evolving, sharing information between themselves to find and exploit weaknesses in Meridian defenses. It was warfare driven by artificial intelligence that operated on principles the aliens had never considered. Send word to Admiral Chen, Maya ordered as she watched the Meridian fleet trying to retreat. Operation Thunderstrike is proceeding as planned. The Chimera devices are performing beyond expectations. The battle continued for another 20 minutes, but the outcome was never in doubt. The dreadnought, once a symbol of Meridian military might, was reduced to a drifting hulk. The response fleet managed to retreat, but not before losing 3 ships to the adaptive minefield. More importantly, they had lost something far more valuable, their aura of invincibility. Later, in the debriefing room aboard Luna Base Alpha, Admiral Chen studied the battle footage with intense concentration. The Chimera devices exceeded all projections, Maya reported. Each engagement makes them more effective as they learn and adapt. The Meridians can't defend against weapons that evolve faster than their countermeasures. Chen nodded slowly. Well done, Captain. But we both know this is just the beginning. The Meridians will adapt. They'll have to. They'll start changing their strategies, becoming more unpredictable. With respect, Admiral, Maya responded, that's exactly what we want. The more they're forced to improvise, the more they have to fight like humans. And that's a game they can't win. The Admiral's eyes met Maya's, and both women shared a moment of understanding. The Meridians had started this war believing they were facing an inferior species. Now they were beginning to realize their mistake. Humanity hadn't just prepared for this war. They had transformed themselves for it. As Maya left the debriefing room, she passed a window overlooking the shipyards where dozens of new stealth corvettes were under construction. Each would be better than the last, incorporating lessons learned from every engagement. The Meridians had unknowingly awakened humanity's most powerful trait, the ability to adapt, improvise, and overcome. Operation Thunderstrike was just the beginning of their education. The Meridian Gambit. Dr. Elena Santos stood before the holographic projection of a rapidly mutating cellular structure, her eyes narrow with concentration. Around her, the Titan Research Station's containment lab hummed with activity as some of Earth's brightest minds worked to counter the latest Meridian threat. After losing multiple fleet engagements, the aliens had unleashed their desperation move, a bioengineered virus designed specifically to target human DNA. The mutation rate is unlike anything we've ever seen, she explained to the gathered emergency council, their faces grim on the quantum-linked displays. The virus adapts to counter our treatments almost as quickly as we develop them. Almost, but not quite. Admiral Chen's hologram leaned forward. Explain. Elena gestured, expanding the cellular model. The Meridians engineered this weapon using their understanding of linear biological progression. But human DNA isn't linear. It's the product of millions of years of chaos, survival, and adaptation. We're messy, and that's our strength. The display shifted to show infection rates across the colonies that had been targeted. The Meridians had expected their virus to spread rapidly through human populations, crippling their military effectiveness. Instead, they'd discovered another peculiarity of their human opponents: extreme genetic diversity. Roughly 30% of humans appear naturally immune, Elena continued. The virus can't establish itself in their systems due to genetic markers the Meridians didn't know to account for. More importantly, we've identified why they're immune, and we can use that knowledge. The council chambers erupted in urgent discussion, but Elena wasn't finished. There's something else. something the Meridians couldn't have anticipated. She brought up a new display, showing cellular interaction patterns. The virus is teaching us about Meridian biology. Every adaptation reveals more about how they think diseases should work, and by extension, how their own immune systems function. Admiral Chen's expression sharpened. You're saying we can turn their weapon against them? Better. Alina's tired face broke into a fierce smile. We can use it to make ourselves stronger. The virus is forcing our immune systems to evolve at an accelerated rate. With proper guidance through targeted gene therapy, we can enhance our natural resistance to all forms of biological attack. The Meridians tried to poison us, but they've handed us the key to biological transcendence instead. The next 3 weeks transformed the war. As Meridian High Command waited for reports of human populations being devastated by their weapon, they instead faced a new variant of humanity. Emergency production facilities worked around the clock to distribute the enhanced gene therapy Alina's team had developed. Each treatment not only rendered humans immune to the Meridian virus, but also strengthened their natural resilience. Alina watched from her lab as the latest batch of treatment data came in. Field reports showed human soldiers operating with increased stamina, faster healing, and resistance to environmental extremes. The Meridian virus, designed to be the perfect predator of human biology, had become the catalyst for human evolution. Doctor, her assistant called out, we're receiving new data from the frontier colonies. The enhanced immune response is showing unexpected benefits. Some subjects are displaying increased cognitive function and sensory perception. Alina nodded, unsurprised. The human body is incredibly adaptable when pushed. The Meridians tried to force our evolution in a direction they thought would destroy us. Instead, they've accelerated our development in ways they never imagined possible. The quantum comm chimed, and Admiral Chen's hologram appeared. Dr. Santos, the Meridians are requesting an emergency conference. Their long-range sensors have detected the changes in our troops. They want to know what we've done. Tell them we learned from their example. Alina replied, studying the latest genetic sequences. They showed us what we could become by trying to destroy what we were. Humanity has always grown stronger when faced with extinction. It's what we do. An alert flashed across her screen, another breakthrough in the research. The enhanced human immune system wasn't just fighting off diseases. It was actively incorporating beneficial genetic sequences, becoming more robust with each challenge. The Meridians had intended their virus to be the end of humanity. Instead, it had become the beginning of something new. Admiral, Alina said, her voice firm with conviction, I think it's time we showed the Meridians exactly what they've helped us become. Our enhanced soldiers are ready for full deployment, and we've developed something special for their bioweapon delivery systems. The Admiral's hologram smiled grimly. You want to return their gift. With improvements, Alina confirmed. They tried to exploit our biological weaknesses. Let's show them what happens when humanity decides to exploit our strengths instead. As she ended the transmission, Alina turned back to her work. On the screens around her, data streamed in from across human space, showing a species in the midst of guided evolution. The Meridians had gambled everything on their understanding of biological warfare. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon had always been their ability to turn adversity into advantage. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and humanity wasn't just surviving. They were transforming. The Meridian Gambit had failed spectacularly, and in doing so, had unleashed something they never expected. A humanity that was becoming more than anyone, even humans themselves, had imagined possible. Breaking point. High Admiral Velix of the Meridian Concordat stared at the tactical display with mounting dread. The holographic representation of Meridian space burned with red indicators, human fleet movements penetrating deeper into their territory with each passing day. Their supposedly inferior opponents had somehow transformed into something unprecedented, something that defied all strategic logic. Another defensive line has fallen. Sub-Commander Thex reported, his voice trembling. The humans, They're not just winning battles, they're evolving their tactics during the engagements themselves. On the primary screen, footage played from their latest defeat. Human ships moved with impossible coordination, their crews displaying enhanced reflexes and decision-making capabilities that bordered on precognition. The genetic modifications that had started as a defense against the Meridian virus had continued to advance, producing soldiers and pilots whose capabilities exceeded all projected limitations. They should have died, Velix whispered, more to himself than his staff. The virus was perfect. Their biology was mapped. Everything was calculated. "Hi, Admiral," Fex interrupted. "We're receiving a priority transmission from the Bastion defense grid. The humans, they're using our own bioweapon delivery systems against us. But they've modified the payload." Velix felt his primary heart stutter. The Bastion system was supposed to be impregnable, the crown jewel of Meridian defensive technology. "Show me." The display shifted to show Meridian crews experiencing something unprecedented: rapid cellular enhancement. The modified human virus wasn't killing them, it was altering them, forcing their biology to adapt in ways their rigidly structured genetic code was never meant to allow. Some were breaking down under the stress, but others were changing. Meanwhile, aboard the UES Hyperion, Admiral Chen watched the culmination of humanity's greatest military campaign unfold. The enhanced human forces, now fully integrated with their advanced technology, moved through Meridian space like a force of nature. Each engagement provided new data, new opportunities for adaptation, new ways to improve. "Status report on Operation Phoenix," she commanded, her enhanced mind processing multiple tactical feeds simultaneously. Captain Maya Patel's hologram appeared, her own enhanced features sharp with focused energy. "The modified virus is performing exactly as Dr. Santos predicted. 20% of Meridian forces are experiencing complete systemic failure, but 40% are showing signs of accelerated evolution. They're beginning to adapt like we do. And the remaining 40%, unchanged, but isolated. Their rigid command structure is breaking down as different segments of their military begin experiencing divergent evolution. They can't maintain unit cohesion when their officers are evolving in different directions." Chen nodded, watching as another Meridian battle group fractured under the combined pressure of human military assault and forced biological adaptation. They wanted to force our evolution in a direction they controlled. Instead, they're being dragged along in our wake. The tactical display updated, showing human forces converging on the Meridian core worlds. The Chimera mines had evolved into autonomous hunter-killer swarms that could disable entire defense networks. Stealth corvettes, now crewed by enhanced humans operating in perfect synchronization with their ship's AI systems, struck with devastating precision. But it was the changed nature of humanity itself that truly broke the Meridian military. Every engagement provided data that was instantly analyzed and adapted to by their enhanced minds. New tactics weren't just developed between battles. They emerged in real time, transmitted through quantum-entangled networks that linked human forces in ways the Meridians couldn't comprehend. "Admiral," Maya reported, "we're detecting massive energy fluctuations from the Meridian capital. They're activating something big." The tactical display shifted, showing an enormous structure emerging from beneath the surface of the Meridian throne world. It radiated power on a scale that dwarfed anything previously encountered in the war. "So," Chen mused, "they did have one last card to play. Interesting." "Ma'am." Maya's hologram flickered with concern. "That device, its power signature suggests it could eliminate all life in a 10-light-year radius. They're desperate enough to consider mutual destruction," Chen agreed. "But they don't understand what they're truly facing anymore. Humanity isn't just a military force now, we're an evolutionary event. And we've prepared for this too." She opened a secure channel to Dr. Santos' research vessel, lurking at the edge of the system. "Doctor, it appears the Meridians are about to field test your theory of cascading evolution. Are your systems ready?" Elena's enhanced features showed fierce anticipation. Ready, Admiral. If they try to use their doomsday device, they'll trigger something far beyond their comprehension. The quantum biological interface we've developed. It won't just save us. It will transform everything in range, including them. Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Meridians had started this war believing they could control human evolution. Now, at the breaking point of their civilization, they were about to discover just how badly they had miscalculated. Humanity hadn't just adapted to survive their attacks. They had learned to thrive on them, to transform threat into opportunity, to become something that transcended traditional definitions of human potential. All forces, prepare for final phase, Chen commanded. The Meridians are about to make their last mistake. Let's show them what evolution really means. The breaking point had arrived, but not the one the Meridians had planned. As their doomsday device powered up, humanity stood ready not just to survive, but to guide the very forces of evolution itself. The war was about to transcend mere military victory. It was about to become a pivotal moment in the development of all sentient life in this sector of space. Legacy of stars. The Meridian doomsday device hung in space like an artificial star, its energy readings climbing toward apocalyptic levels. On the bridge of the UES Hyperion, Admiral Chen watched with enhanced senses as humanity's final gambit unfolded. The quantum biological interface developed by Dr. Santos pulsed through the fleet, connecting every enhanced human into a vast, synchronized network of consciousness and purpose. They're passing the critical threshold, Elena reported, her voice resonating through the quantum link. 3 minutes until total energy release. Chen's enhanced mind processed the tactical displays, monitoring thousands of variables simultaneously. The Meridian leadership, cornered in their capital city, believed they were about to trigger mutual destruction. They didn't understand that humanity had evolved beyond such simple equations of survival. Signal the fleet, Chen commanded. Begin the convergence protocol. Across human-controlled space, the enhanced forces moved with perfect coordination. Ships positioned themselves in a complex geometric pattern, creating an intricate web of quantum-entangled fields. The pattern wasn't just tactical. It was evolutionary, designed to channel and reshape the very forces the Meridians sought to unleash. 1 minute to energy release, Elena announced. Quantum biological field is at maximum strength. Every enhanced human in range is synchronized. Through the quantum link, Chen felt the collective consciousness of humanity's evolved forces, soldiers, scientists, and civilians alike, all connected in this moment of transformation. The Meridians had tried to force human evolution down a path of extinction. Instead, they had pushed humanity to achieve something unprecedented. True species-wide synchronization. The doomsday device reached critical mass. Light bloomed in the heart of the Meridian system, a wave of destructive energy that should have annihilated everything in its path. But as it expanded, it met something unexpected. A quantum biological field generated by millions of enhanced human minds working in perfect harmony. Field is holding, Elena reported, her excitement bleeding through the link. The energy, it's being redirected, reshaped. The theory of cascading evolution is proving correct. We're not just surviving the wave, we're using it. The destructive energy, caught in humanity's carefully constructed field, began to change. Instead of destroying, it became a catalyst for transformation. The quantum biological interface acted as a lens, focusing the power into controlled bursts of accelerated evolution that swept through both human and Meridian space. On the Meridian capital world, the High Command watched in horror as their ultimate weapon was transformed into something entirely different. The energy wave that should have been their final act of defiance instead triggered widespread genetic awakening among their own people. The rigid structures of Meridian biology, carefully maintained through millennia of controlled evolution, began to shift and adapt. They're experiencing the same awakening we did, Elena observed through the link. But guided, controlled. We're not just winning the war, We're sharing our evolution. Through the quantum network, Chen felt the moment the Meridian leadership realized the full scope of their defeat. Their weapon hadn't just failed, it had become the instrument of their transformation. The very force they had intended to use for destruction had instead become a bridge between species. "Open a channel to the Meridian High Command," Chen ordered. The holographic display flickered to life, showing the Meridian leaders experiencing the first stages of their own evolutionary awakening. Their rigid features were already beginning to show signs of adaptation and change. "This is the legacy we choose to leave," Chen announced, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's collective decision. "Not extinction, not subjugation, but evolution. You tried to force us down a path of your choosing. Instead, we learned to forge our own way. And now we offer you the chance to join us." The response came not in words, but through the quantum biological network that now connected both species. The Meridians, experiencing the first taste of unrestricted adaptation, felt something they had never known before: the potential for true change, for growth beyond their rigid structures. In the days that followed, the war that had begun with an attempt at conquest ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The Meridian Concordat, its population experiencing guided evolution, began to understand what humanity had discovered: that true strength lay not in control, but in adaptation, not in uniformity, but in diversity. Dr. Santos's research stations became centers of joint human-Meridian study, exploring the possibilities of controlled evolution. The quantum biological network expanded, connecting more minds, sharing more perspectives, guiding the development of both species towards something greater than either had imagined possible. Admiral Chen stood in the observation deck of Luna Base Alpha, watching ships from both species dock and depart. The war had ended, but humanity's journey was just beginning. They had not only survived the Meridian attempt at conquest, they had transformed it into an opportunity for growth that encompassed both species. "We could have destroyed them," Elena said, joining her at the window. "Used their own weapon to end their civilization." Chen nodded, her enhanced senses detecting the quantum signatures of evolved humans and Meridians working together below. "That would have been the easy choice, but humanity's strength has never been in destroying our enemies. It's in transforming them into something better, just as we transform ourselves." The stars seemed brighter now, viewed through enhanced eyes that could perceive the quantum dance of reality itself. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged not just victorious, but transcendent. Their legacy would not be written in destruction, but in the eternal story of evolution, adaptation, and the endless potential for change. The war was over. The next great adventure, guiding the cooperative evolution of two species once locked in conflict, was just beginning. And in the vast quantum network that now spanned their civilizations, human and Meridian minds worked together, reaching for possibilities that neither species could have imagined alone.